it doesn't really work. And you know it doesn't because your closest friends, they'll come up to you and they can see through that smile. They ask you all the time. People ask you all the time, hey, what's wrong with you? Something seems off today, what's wrong? And you say the same thing. Oh man, I'm just tired. I didn't get to sleep last night, I'm just tired. How many of y'all have used that one before? I'm just tired. You put the mask on your face and you go on your way, put the smile back on, pretend like everything's okay. I know that's how it goes. I wore that same mask in high school. On the outside, it looked like everything was perfect, but on the inside, I was dealing with a lot. I came from a single parent home, split parent home. My parents were just kids in high school when they had me, just kids trying to raise a kid. Didn't work out, they split and went their separate ways. I know a lot of you might have split parents and you know this type of pressure, right? Got to get along with both sides. Meanwhile, both sides can't get along with each other. They're always fighting. That throws you in the middle. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of emotions that you got to deal with at a young age. A lot of us don't know how to deal with it yet. And for me personally, it left me with depression, anxiety, insecurities. But I came to school every single day with a smile on my face. And I know a lot of you do too. I think about that every time I stand up on a stage and I look out at you, I see your faces looking back at me. My first thought is, how many of you were like me when you were in high school? How many of you were like me when you were in middle school? How many of you were like me? Because you wear that mask. Now what's crazy is you're hiding behind two masks. Just last week I was speaking at a school in Oregon. There was a weird disconnection because they were wearing masks. After the assembly, I always talk to students. And this was the first time that I talked to students where we both had to wear a mask on. I had a mask on, this little girl that I was talking to had a mask on, and I could barely see her. I could just see her eyes. And she's telling me her story. She's telling me how, she's 15 years old. She has 3 siblings. Her mother has 2 jobs. It's just her mom. Her dad left when she was like 7, and she has to basically raise her siblings. And she's telling me her story. She's angry, man. She's mad. Like she's mad at the world. She's mad at her mom. She's like, my mom's never there. My mom doesn't understand. I just want to be a kid, As the story progresses, this little girl, she had a lot of insecurities, and she was telling me how, she felt like she was ugly, she felt like she was fat, and nobody liked her, and her mask would keep falling down, and she'd quickly pull it up because she was scared that I would see her face. That's how insecure she was. I think she had never said that story out loud. She had never said her feelings or her emotions. She never let them out. And when she finally did, she was able to hear them, out loud for the first time. And she started to relate her story to her mom's story. And so at the beginning, she was angry. Now she was kind of thankful for her mom. She was literally like, well, I'm just glad that I even have my mom. My mom's such a strong person, and I need to have this talk with my mom, because if there's one person in this world that I could relate to, it would be her, And I'm not saying anything, nothing. I'm just listening, and she's figuring it out by herself, by just letting it out. Anyway, she keeps going, and eventually she gets to a point where she's so thankful, she's so happy, she's smiling, she starts crying happy tears. Her mask is getting soaked, and it's getting heavy, and it's falling down. But this time, instead of picking it up, she goes, hey man, this thing's just bugging me. Do you mind if I take it off? A light bulb went off in my head. I got a beautiful, beautiful life lesson from this little girl. I realized that at the beginning of our conversation, she was hiding behind that mask. That mask made her feel safe. It made her feel protected. But as she told her story, and she became more and more comfortable with being herself, the mask that she was wearing became more and more uncomfortable, to the point that she wanted to take it off. So when she asked me, do you mind if I take it off? I looked at her and I said, you know what? Tears melt the mask away. And And that's something that I've told students for years, you know, because students would come up to me after programs, they'll be like, I'm sorry, I don't want to cry. I said, cry, it's okay. It's a good thing to cry. Tears melt the mask away. And that day she gave me like a real visual representation of what that truly means. We're hiding behind a mask that doesn't even work. We think that it's protecting us, we think that it makes us safe. But really, it's just stopping us from being ourselves. It's time to take that mask off. It's time to speak up. It's time to be vulnerable. Tell your story. Relate to one another. Get connected. Build relationships. And let's push back against all this pressure together.